Welcome to another episode of the Wealth Easy podcast, where we talk all things wealth, health, and real estate. Today, my guest has over 15 years in the fitness industry, training high-performance athletes, fire responders, high-level professionals. Please welcome to the show, Szab Kulcsar. Welcome to the show.
Just wanted to thank you for having me on. It's an honor.
Well, listen, what we talk about in the show, we talk all things wealth, health, and real estate. And my philosophy is, it doesn't matter how much wealth you have. If you don't have good health, the wealth means absolutely nothing. So I wanted to have you on and talk about why health plays such an important role, because you do a lot of training with high executives and professionals, and they've all got busy lives. And so some of them, I'm assuming, are very wealthy, but they have to at some point make time for their health. True?
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah.
So why don't you give my listeners a 2-minute bio on yourself and what is it that you do?
Okay. So grew up in Romania, actually came out as an immigrant. So I was 10 years old, raised by a single parent. Didn't really have that father figure growing up, so kind of had to figure things out on my own. Later on in the years, teens, I got into fitness, just going through high school, very active with sports. Always had a heart for helping people. So that's kind of where my whole background came into: criminology, policing, firefighting. But that was, as much as I commend, it takes a heart for someone to be able to do that. It wasn't the life for me. So I got into fitness, and I actually helped a lot of guys that are in that industry through some of their fitness challenges, right? So since then, I've kind of formed Skul Fitness, which is a company that I've basically facilitated high performance training. We train athletes. We did work through PTA, just basically a lot of high performance type training.
So you've got a background, you said, in criminology, policing, firefighting, and then you began your career working as a PTA with the Wounded Marines and Veterans through Wounded Warrior Project in the U.S. How did you end up here doing that?
Yeah, so that, again, that was just after I finished university and moved out to the U.S. So it happened that a family friend of ours was working as a physiotherapist with the Veterans Memorial Hospital and needed a PTA. So had me come aboard and had me just, it was kind of like house visits. So I would go and it was all just manual work, right? With guys that were, whether they got wounded I had one by accident, another one in Afghanistan through an IED, right? So it was all just manual kind of work, working through stretches, things like that. So that's where I got into that aspect of training and fitness and health. And then so with the work visa and everything in the U.S. that was happening, I was forced to move back. And so that's kind of where the entire journey began here in Toronto, came back.
So working with wounded Marines and veterans, what experience did that teach you that you just can't learn anywhere else?
I mean, listen, we take life for granted. We take our health for granted. We complain that, we don't want to get up and go to the gym sometimes, or we don't want to get up and do things, and we take it for granted. These guys couldn't do that anymore, right? So it just kind of really opened up my perspective from that regards, that as much as we pursue financial freedom, we pursue all sorts of things in this life. If we're not taking care of our fitness, we're not taking care of our health, not only physical but mental, none of that's going to matter. None of that matters.
Well, I agree with you 100%. I've been bodybuilding and training since I was 15 years old. I'll be 55 in 6 weeks. I think at some point in your life, it becomes a lifestyle. It's like breathing, eating. If I'm not in the gym, if I'm not training, that's like me not eating. It's just becomes part of that lifestyle, something that you just have to incorporate and do. And, besides a couple of injuries that I have, being 55, I honestly don't feel 55. I feel like I'm still 30 years old. Yeah. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So incorporating that into the life and then health, I think is so important with anything that you're doing, especially these high professionals. So you came back and then you decided to create this company. What made you go all in and create Skul Fitness?
This was actually, so I worked in Markham, managing a gym.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to about that point where it was around COVID, just before it, and went through a lot of life crises. I've been through a divorce, and at that point, fitness again was always something that was my anchor. It was
Mm-hmm.
something that I could turn to, and at that point, it was how it was during COVID too. Is either you crumbled under the pressure,
Oh yeah.
or you found growth and you figured out how to move on and make better. And so that's where Skul Fitness was really, as much as it was forming through those years, that's where it really kind of grew into where it's like, you know what, I'm going to take this leap of faith. I'm going to bet on myself and I'm going to start this thing and do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of where it all began. Started to just grow my own company, just bet on myself. All of my growth, all of it at that time, Instagram, social media wasn't that crazy. So everything is organic, right? It was all word of mouth, all of it. So
I know what that's like. I mean, I started my career in 1999, financial services with a bank. And 2 years later, 2001, I leave. And walking away from this guaranteed thing called a check that I knew I was getting every 2 weeks, and walking away and going, don't know when I'm getting that next check because it's all on my hard work, like whatever it is I do. I know how difficult that can be. What did those early days look like for you?
I mean, 16-hour days,
Mm-hmm.
Commuting from Barrie to Markham every single day. So those actual 16-hour days were more like 18-hour days. Very, very little sleep, to the point where I was training individuals to be their best, but my body was falling apart. My mental well-being was depleted, right? Again, going through the divorce, that took a massive toll on me, and it was just a massive learning curve. But I still had to show up for everybody else, right? You don't just, turn it off and go with it. Like part of my job is to motivate people when they come in to see me, and to push them to better themselves. But when you got nothing left in the tank, it becomes very hard.
So what keeps you going? What drove you? Where do you find your enthusiasm?
My enthusiasm, I mean, first and foremost, my faith. You got to have something to climb to.
Mm-hmm.
So my faith was definitely something that got me through a lot of those dark days.
Mm-hmm.
But again, fitness, it was my anchor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the one thing I can show up at 2 a.m. if I had to and just get that workout in. The weights were always there, never talk back to you, never hurt you, never hurt your feelings. Sure, they hurt your muscles, but it was my anchor, right? And as you said, it's part of that lifestyle, right? So the biggest thing too that I've noticed is a lot of people going through university, being teenagers, early 20s, they're athletes. They're playing sports. They're high level competitors, and then they start these businesses, right? And what happens is all of that kind of falls to the background, and you don't do those things anymore, and hence why, you start feeling like your age because you stop moving.
Mm-hmm.
If you just continue to move, like you said, you're 55 and you feel like you're 35, that's because you're continually moving, and it's part of your routine, it's part of your lifestyle, right? If you want to call it vice, is fitness, is part of your lifestyle, while other people turn to other things. Alcohol, major one, especially for busy professionals. I mean, you're entertaining clients, sometimes after work, you're going out, what's happening? You're drinking, right? So there's so many different areas that we tackle when we talk to these people. It's not just about showing up to the gym. If you're not healthy up here, that just falls apart. And that's one of the biggest things that I really, really kind of focus on when I come across these individuals.
Talking about divorce, I've been through a divorce, and it's not nice. It's nasty.
Yeah.
And the one thing that always made me feel good, going to a gym.
Yeah.
No matter where my mindset was, I'd be pissed off, down.
Right.
You walk into the gym, put the headphones on, hit the weights. I always walked out feeling good.
Yeah.
And then you go have a nice meal, and I just found that when I eat clean, I feel good.
Yeah.
If I eat shit,
Yeah.
I just feel like so lethargic and just so blah.
Yeah.
But the moment I put a good, healthy meal in, something about, if you are a high performance athlete, right, you need to put in high performing food.
Exactly.
Your mindset, it works the same way.
Yeah.
If you're performing at a high level, you can't put shit in. You have to, whatever you put in is what you're going to get out.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to scroll on Instagram and watch the news and who knows what else, watch reruns of Friends, if you're not exercising even the mind, shit's going to come out. So even at a high level, you need to feed the mind and feed the body with high performing foods if you want to, I found anyway, performing at a high level.
Yeah, absolutely.
It always made me feel good.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. That's definitely something that a lot of people don't understand is that it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over a period of a month, 6 months, a year, and you look back 5 years down the road, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, damn, what the hell happened to me? Yeah. It's not in one night, right? Those bad habits, right? Staying up late, maybe watching porn and then waking up all exhausted in the morning and not being able to perform for your next meeting. I mean, that's not by accident. Those are the choices that you're making regularly. And it becomes so normal that you don't know any different. Yeah. Right? Now, when you go to bed on time, when you don't consume the media, the negative news, when people look at you like, oh, this guy doesn't know how to live. Like, what a monk. But then when they see you at 6 a.m. running, they think you're psychotic, right? It's just it's society itself. I mean, we're just continually chasing novelty. It's always something new. It's always something new.
Or the next shiny thing.
The next shiny thing. So, I do a fitness program for 6 months or 6 weeks and I don't undo the damage I've been doing for the last 3 years. All of a sudden it's not good and I need something else, right? We jump from all of these things continually because realistically the root of the issue is just up here.
Hey everyone, it's John. I just wanted to thank you for being here, and I would ask that you please subscribe to the show by just clicking the subscribe button right here. I'd really appreciate it. It helps grow the show so we can get even more successful guests on the program to help you. If you're already subscribed, a huge thank you. When you subscribe, you're going to get access to the program before anybody else does. So if you would, just click subscribe right here. Thanks so much, and welcome back to the Wealth Easy Show. Yeah. Do you find that when you pick up a new client, they're looking for instant results, instant gratification? Do they get disappointed early on because they're not seeing, their goals? They're not seeing the weight loss that they like to?
Sometimes, but I feel like as the last couple of years have progressed, that's become less of an issue, right? So a lot of the clientele that I attract now are again, very high performing individuals that somewhere down the road just kind of lost what it is to have fitness part of their lifestyle, whether they're at different stages, right? There's different seasons in life. You may have just had a newborn. You may have just gone through a divorce like we have, or you may have lost a loved one. And so there's all sorts of traumatic events that happen in our life, and some people don't have fitness like me and you to turn to. So again, they turn to other vices, right? And so those are the types of people that I've really kind of come across. And again, like they understand, listen, I can easily give you a 12-week program. There's thousands and more of programs out there that will help you lose and probably make you lose maybe 20, 30 pounds in the next 12 weeks. But do they teach you what it takes for your life, for where you're at in life, for the things that you've been through to sustain that? Because you don't have time to pull out a scale and weigh your food, right? You don't have time to go and work out maybe 2 hours in the gym, right? Some people are like, they go to work maybe 10, 12 hours, try and go home, spend some time with family, because that's also important. And then where's their fitness kind of falls off, right? So it's really just kind of the first and foremost thing that what we do, and I'll go into it a little bit later, is we take an audit, right? The same way that you would audit your finances and figure out where you're spending money that you shouldn't. Because again, it didn't happen overnight. A subscription here, you know, maybe a car payment there, an upgrade on some sort of, you know, home theater there. You take an audit of that, you got to take an audit of your fitness as well. And just the life of what this person is going through. And then based off of that, we figure out, okay, how can we bring this back so that it's part of your lifestyle and it's not just a temporary thing?
It's kind of like, you know, I always say in being in the wealth business, as people earn more money, they get what's called lifestyle creep.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that sometimes you could be, you know, eating good sometimes, and then all of a sudden you go to put on a pair of pants and like, I don't remember them being this tight before.
Yeah.
So you need to audit your lifestyle and what have you been doing in the past 3 or 4 weeks or 2 months to have those pants fit tight.
But that's because you know that you need to do that. That's part of the mindset. That's having the ability to know when you need to look in the mirror and figure out what it is that you're doing. Some people don't. There's millions of people out there that know nothing different than to wake up tired, run on caffeine all day, go home, and just look forward to sitting in front of the couch and maybe watching a couple shows or maybe even more, go to sleep and repeat. They don't know any different.
And they wonder why sometimes 50-year-olds are dropping dead of heart attacks.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about the divorce, you say you went through a hard time. I went through a really hard time too. And I'm really grateful to say that the woman who I hated with a passion because of what we were going through at the time is a very close friend today. Mother of my son.
Yeah.
We got past that and we put our egos aside that we're actually good friends. But during that time, I went through like this state of, I don't know if you call it depression, but I was unmotivated because I just lost my house. I had to sell my house.
Yeah.
And all the money is sitting in a lawyer's trust. I'm renting a place. I'm not seeing my son. My son is like 3 years old. I'm not seeing my kid. And I started to play the victim. And exactly what I was doing, what you say is, I was staying up late. I wasn't watching porn, but I was staying up and I was watching movies, or I'd get into a show and I binge watch on a show.
Yeah.
And I would be going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, wake up at 8, 9, go to the gym for 10, go home, start my day at 12, finish at 5. And I couldn't figure out why my business was suffering.
Yeah.
Like, what else can go wrong for me? So when I actually started listening to Ed Milet.
Yeah. That's one of the guys I was listening to during that growth time.
Yeah. I was listening to some Ed Milet. And one of the things that I'll never forget, he said, pain is temporary. And what you were going through is not going to be the same person you are when you come out on the other side. But you have to change your mindset. And if you can change your mindset, you'll change your behaviors. And when you change your behaviors, everything else will come into play. So I stopped going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. I started going to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I started waking up at 6 in the morning. I was at the gym for 7. I was home by 9. I put in a full day of work, and guess what? I got lucky.
Business started to grow.
My business started to grow.
But that's not luck.
Right. But, you know, the reason I make a joke because, you know, I have a very good lifestyle. And people see my lifestyle and they go, oh, must be nice.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. And I say, you know what's funny about that? It just seems that the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Yeah.
If you're not putting in the work, then you're not gonna get the results. And listen, you know, we see each other in the gym in the morning. I'm there at 8:30 with my wife. I put in my workouts. I'm there 5 days a week. No matter what's going on in my life, even on vacation, we are at the gym. My wife and I, thank God, I have a partner who has these same goals. Like, we have to go to the gym. And, you know, listen, there are going to be some days where you just don't feel like it. You don't feel like it. But one thing I've learned in life is that you need to do the things that are uncomfortable. And luckily, I have a partner who motivates me and pushes me to let's go. You didn't train yesterday. Get your ass in the gym. Let's go. And who actually eats the same way that I do. Do you think that really plays an important role? Like, you're dealing with a lot of executives. Are you finding that a lot of these executives and these high professionals that are performing at a high level, are you finding that they have the support system also at home, or maybe their partners are of the same type of mentality?
100%.
Both?
100%. It's very, very challenging to live almost like kind of different lives,
Yeah.
eat different foods, go to sleep at different times. At that point, you're just roommates and you're living, you're just kind of with a friend,
Yeah.
right? That has completely different values
Yeah.
about fitness and really just generally in life than you do. So I would say almost 100% of them all have very, very similar mindset type partners.
Yeah. Like 9:30 comes and it doesn't matter what's going on. My wife will turn off the TV, or, we like to, we make time at least, for like an hour and a half at night to pick a show. Like, this is our time. We sit on the sofa and we watch, cause I'll work till 8:00.
Yeah.
And this is the time where we just spend some time just watching a show. But 9:30, I don't stay up until 11. It's like, okay, let's go. We go together up to bed, but then I'll get up at 5:30 and she'll sleep till 7. But I get up at my morning 5 or 5:30, and I'm doing my meditation. I do like a 30-minute meditation, and I get my emails and stuff going. By the time she gets up, we have our breakfast and we head to the gym.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that you do have that support system at home. And like you said, it's important that if you're training someone, it's very hard for you to be giving, I think a meal plan to someone and going, you got to follow this, that you need your macros. And then you go home and your wife's getting pizza for the kids, and the kids are eating shit, and she's eating, and you got to sit there and, you're eating cod fish while you're looking over and the kids are eating pasta. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, listen, it's again, I keep it very simple for my clients because they don't have time to meal prep. They don't, right? They eat out a lot. So for me to tell someone that, you can only eat out once a week, or, you can only go and have, fish and asparagus, it's unrealistic. So what we do is we really just kind of monetize it in a way for them that they can still do all that, but make the right choices. When you know what to pick, when you know to ask for no butter on your steak, you just saved yourself probably about 20 grams of fat. It's very simple. You can still go to the steakhouse. You know that if you're going to have a drink, maybe skip on the dessert. Don't have both. Okay. Skip the bread. It's very simple, and you just basically saved yourself thousands of calories over a period of a month, right? So these are the types of things that we kind of really look into and have our clients adapt.
So you got law enforcement, you got criminal background. How does that mindset show up in the people that you coach today?
I mean, people will look at me and kind of think that I'm always have such bad energy. I'm always angry. But it's really, that's just who I am from, if you want to call it a resting bitch face. But really, when I show up to work, I'm business. You've seen me. I keep my head down. I don't worry about the drama of the day at the gym. I don't worry about the drama of the day in the news or wherever. I keep my head down. It's straight business. People are there because they need me, because whether they need discipline, whether they've had a bad night, whether they're going through something crap with their partners or whoever, they need a really good workout. Or they need that coaching and that motivation maybe that day. So it's always just straight business.
Well, I know you're known for you're known as the no BS approach.
Yeah.
So where does that come from? Like, what does that actually mean day to day? Because I've seen you with a client that I might be maybe having a quick conversation with, and you'd be like, oh, let's go, get back, and then like you'll literally stop a conversation to get that client back to doing what they were doing.
Yeah. I mean, again, you only have so much time in the day to get your exercises in, get your fitness in. And so within that, again, I guess really just going back to my upbringing and I guess some of the experiences that I've been through, I am a very guarded person. It takes a lot for me to open up. But when I do, like, I'm actually like very friendly, people don't see like that, like, my wife would be like, oh, he's actually very funny. People are like, really? I don't really see that happening because I'm not joking around with my clients all the time, right? I'm not, on my phone maybe updating a new reel while they're exercising.
Maybe I see that all the time. Oh,
you know, listen, you take some content. I've done it as well, but it's one thing to take a content and then use your own time to upload those or to, you know, create it and get that on there. And it's different than on their time, right? It comes down to respect.
Yeah.
Right? When someone's paying top dollar to come see me, I'm present.
Yeah.
Right? So whether or not they show up for their full hour, whether or not they show up for their 30 minutes, you know, a lot of my online clients, when I check in with them, if they're completing their workouts, right? It's all business, and I'm there to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to and learning what you're supposed to so that you don't need me, right? The biggest thing, like, I learned in the fitness industry is this goes for everything, physios, chiros, sometimes even doctors, is it works on a borderline like ethical perspective where you like have to need me. So it's all recurring revenue. Like, the longer I have a client, the more successful I'm going to be, the more money I'm going to make. And I've learned to operate the exact opposite way. From day one, I learned that I don't want to be the guy that tries to hold on to clients for as long as possible. I want to teach them how to be self-sufficient, to not need me. Right. And again, you know, as executives, busy people, professionals, people that have a lot of money, you know this better than anyone. It's not because you don't have all this money and you don't have, you know, financial freedom because you were frugal, but you were smart with your money. You're smart with your money, but you'll spend on things that you see value on. So I still have clients that have been, you know, 8-10 years with me, not because they need me, but it's become part of their lifestyle, and they see the value in having me as their coach.
I think they also want someone that's going to keep them accountable.
Yes.
Because I'll take this back to golf. You know, Scotty Scheffler is probably the #1 golfer in the world right now. No one's going to teach this guy how to play the game of golf. But I guarantee you that he has a swing coach and someone that's going to work with him on a daily basis. And I think if the coach went in and said, well, you know, I'm going to work with you just for a little bit to a point that you don't need me, Scotty Scheffler, I don't think would stay #1. Mm-hmm. They stay #1 because they have the coach, and they need that coach to keep them performing at that high level, because it's going to come back to accountability.
Yeah.
So I think what a lot of your clients, especially these high-performing executives, is they didn't get there by not having a guide or a set of rules.
Yeah.
And having you as their fitness coach, it keeps them grounded and guided and held to accountable. Like, what did you eat? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and it's, you know, they travel, they go, you know, 3-4 months off here and there. And then they're back, right? It's not a constant thing, but again, it's like you said, you nailed it on the head. It's the accountability aspect for sure.
Yeah. So you built the Lean Executive System. It's a proven framework that helps busy professionals get lean, strong, and in control of their health without disrupting their lifestyle. Tell us about that.
So again, going back to what we just briefly spoke about. A lot of professionals somewhere down the road kind of lost what it is to have fitness in their lifestyle. And now, whether they're, you know, running the business, having a couple businesses, families, they don't know how to incorporate fitness back in there, or they don't have the time. And so within that, this system is proven to really just audit their lifestyle, and everyone's different. It's not a one size fits all, right? A lawyer will have different schedules than a surgeon or someone that's running a really high tech company, right? But within that, we will audit their lifestyle and what their careers demand of them, and mold fitness into it so that fitness isn't something that's always another kind of like a struggle, but part of it, right? So like you said, you wake up at 5 a.m, you meditate, you do your emails, you basically complete half your task before the rest of the population even gets up. And then that allows you to go to the gym. and get your workout in, and then you go and you continue on with your day and get all your work done. But some people don't have that structure, and they don't know how to get that structure back, right? So we really take an audit. Like, even if you work 12 hours a day and you work 60 hours a week, you still got 12 hours left in the day. So let's just say you sleep for 8, or let's say 6. You still got 6 hours. So what are you doing in those 6 hours? Let's really hold you accountable and figure out where you can get your 45 minutes of workout in, because that's all you really need. If you work out, 3 to 4 times a week, 45 minutes, and really just watch your foods, watch what you put in your mouth, you can be healthy, right? Now, that can look different for everybody, right? Do you want a 6-pack? Do you want to be in the low 10% body fat? Those are different goals, and those are different kind of things that we kind of work on. But for someone that's just waking up and they can't function because their dopamine levels are shot, and they're just like, on, 800 to 1,000 milligrams of coffee, well, maybe it's just as simple as wake up, have a glass of water by your bed, down that first with some vitamins, wait an hour before you have your first coffee. And you'll notice that within that, you just kind of cut your caffeine intake in half. Right.
So when you say 45 minutes of working out, that's 45 minutes of working out. That's not scrolling on your phone.
No.
Put the phone down.
I mean, that's 45 minutes straight.
Yeah.
45
Keep the heart rate
minutes
up.
straight. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
That's there's no phone scrolling. None of that.
Yeah. So you mentioned you do some online training too. How does someone stay motivated, or how can you work with someone who's halfway across the world and still train them online? How does that work?
So we have an app, and I keep track of their workouts. So the workouts are specifically designed to the person. So on our initial consultation, first call, onboarding session, we really see whether or not they have injuries, any background in fitness, if they've done anything, what the kind of like the speed bumps are, why they're where they're at. Because at the end of the day, when someone comes to you, they have a set kind of habits that have got them to that point. So it all comes down to figuring out what those are, and then once we've figured that out, we design them the program, and it's assigned to them in the app. So what they do is they basically go to the gym, just like you would. They pull out their phone, and the actual workout of the day is there. And then so what I do, depending again on which program they're on, is I would check in with them every single week. Hey, I see you missed Wednesday. What's going on? I'm starting to see a pattern here that you're missing every Wednesday. Do we need to move this to Tuesday? Right? And then in regards to nutrition, so it's the same thing, right? We get them a scale. And so off of that, we really just track their numbers, whether or not they're losing body fat. Because if we put them on a too aggressive of an approach, sure, they could be losing weight, but they could be losing that weight from muscle mass, which then kind of contradicts the entire thing, right? And that's what keeps people in a yo-yo effect.
So how does that differ from any regular fitness program that's out there that people just give?
This is meant for you to learn, and again, never need to purchase another fitness program again. Never need to do another diet, right? Again, so if someone is, let's say they just had a newborn and their life completely changed, right? Maybe they're off work and they used to work in the bank. Now within that, you need to take care of an infant, but also you're trying to get your fitness back on track. You're at a different season of life than what you were when you were just, working in your career. So we adapt the program based off of that to that season of life. And they learn basically how to sustain that and never really need to join anything else, right?
What do you notice different about high-functioning professionals that differ from everyday folk?
They're just relentless, right?
Do they have a code?
Do they have a code?
You say they're relentless, you most find that they have certain codes that they live by.
Yeah, I mean, it's just driven. It just there's something a little different when someone walks into the room. You can just kind of see it off of them that this person really has it together, right? Yeah.
So these professionals and entrepreneurs, sometimes they'll travel. Do you actually do an online, say, if they want to go to the gym, Are you on a Zoom call with them? Are you with them like a full hour, motivating them, telling them what to do?
No,
Keeping their
we're
timing
not.
going?
We don't.
Or is that just done through the app?
We don't. It's all through the app. So
Okay.
so part of the lean executive system actually is travel fit, travel proof plan. That's part of one of the pillars,
Okay.
right? So the three main things that a lot of busy people have in common, the three pillars that we're built on is the time. They're limited for time. They travel a lot, and they eat out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so the lean executive system targets those three main things because that's where people fall off the most. So when you kind of learn that, okay, so I'm traveling, right, and I'm at the airport and I haven't had anything, maybe instead of stopping at the Burger King, you're gonna go to the Starbucks and you're gonna get the egg white bites, and you're still gonna get your protein, and you didn't track anything, but you're not fueling your body with what it requires.
Mm-hmm.
Those small decisions over a long period of time compound into a positive effect, and that just becomes part of the person's identity. It's all about identity. It's who are you, right? And what is it that you're doing when no one's watching? Because it's easy to kind of put on an act and say things and go on camera and pretend to be something that you think people want to see you as, but it's what you're doing when no one's watching that's gonna make it or break it. You know this better than anyone, right? No one sees those early mornings that you woke up, or those late nights that you stayed up, but it must be nice.
Yep.
Right?
Making smarter, better choices.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it, right?
Yeah.
But when they travel on vacation, there's nothing wrong with living life. If you are disciplined and you can get your shit done when you're not on vacation, and you really keep that like 80% of your life clean and 20% of it just kind of off, actually living life, there's no problem with going on vacation. There's no problem in indulging a little bit in food, right? The problem is people live like they're always on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they go on vacation, they go off board even more.
Mm-hmm. My wife and I, we just came back from a week's holiday in the Dominican, and we find that when we go to the buffets,
Yeah.
it's so hard to, because we're at home, we weigh everything. We have a scale, we weigh all our foods. But when you're at the buffet, there's so much good food. It's like we come back and our plate is stacked. So, what we try to do now is, when we go out on vacation, we're going to the restaurants, we will look for consuming just fats, no carbs. Because I find when you just load yourself up on carbs,
Okay.
and you're sitting in the sun, you're not really active. Yeah, we go to the gym in the morning. We always found when we came back from vacation, we're like 7 to 10 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
And then one year we went away and we gave up drinking. We don't drink alcohol, so we'll drink water throughout the day, or a non-alcoholic beer. But we just ate only fats, and we watched it. We came back, we were identically the same weight as before we left. And then we thought, you know what? Let's not be so strict. Let's reward ourselves. So instead of having a dessert at nighttime or having like 3 of them, if we want a little something sweet, let's have it with lunch, so at least we have most of the day to burn it off, not at 8 o'clock at night.
Exactly.
So the thing is, it's not restrict yourself, it's just making smarter choices.
Because you know how to do that, and that's part of what people don't know how to do, right?
Yeah, making little substitutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as knowing that carbs are for energy. So if you're getting home late at night and you've had a long day, you've walked around a lot, you don't need carbs now because you're just probably gonna unwind and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so the majority of your carbs need to be front loaded through the morning and through the day. And when people don't do that, that's why they get that midday crash, right? It comes with that, and hence the more caffeine, and your insulin levels spike, and then all of a sudden you get home and you load up your plate with a massive amount of carbs and whatever else, and the cycle repeats itself.
So you're saying we should consume more carbs in the morning and throughout the day, and then taper it off, and maybe, would you even agree that your dinner time meal don't even need carbs, maybe just more as like fats and proteins, like you don't even need carbs at dinner?
I wouldn't say that. You'll ask 20 people and you'll get 20 different answers.
Right.
At the end of the day, if let's say your range is between 120 grams to 140 grams of carbs for the day, and you're at, let's say, 100 or 120, and you have about 20 left, right?
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with having some rice with your chicken at night, or some potatoes. The issue lies when someone goes their entire day with maybe 20 grams of carbs, zero for their energy levels, which is what's required, and then they crush a massive amount when they don't need it,
Mhm.
right? Because then that instantly just goes into glucose and you store it,
Yeah.
right? But no, there's nothing wrong with carbs at night. It's again really just keeping that right balance.
Well, how much carbs, right? You don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to load yourself with a plate of pasta.
Of
and
course,
block.
of course, and a lot of Italians,
Yeah.
that's the go-to, right?
Yeah.
I deal with that a lot, so that's the go-to, right? So that again is just timing,
Mhm.
right? It's just getting that timing right in the certain meals. But again, one of the principles that we teach is just look at your plate. It's got to be protein loaded.
Mhm.
We implement 3 anchored meals. So you have 3 anchored meals for your breakfast. You have 3 anchored meals for your lunch, 3 anchored meals for your dinner. So those anchored meals are your 80%. Okay? Whether you are going to pick your egg whites, let's say with a protein shake in the morning, or just a protein shake maybe with a little bit of oats, or whether or not maybe you're on the go and the only thing you have to do is to maybe stop at the gas station and you pick up one of your Core Powers or Starbucks or Tim Hortons, your egg white bites, right?
Mhm.
All of those things are protein loaded and very low in your fats. So that instantly starts your day off right. But it's a lot of people don't know this, right? So it's just implementing kind of those anchored meals. And if you kind of fall into line with those things, it becomes effortless. It's just habits. We're creatures of habit, right? We don't like change. But once you slowly incorporate better things, it's just automatic. You don't no longer even have to think about it.
What's your thoughts, or do you have a rule on when your last meal should be before you go to bed? Because you should never go to bed, I guess, with insulin levels really high, right?
Yeah.
So do you have a window of what you recommend to clients of when they should time their last meal before bed?
At least 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
In a
rule I go
perfect
by.
world, yeah. In a perfect world, it's 3 hours.
Yeah.
Right now, there's something to say for it's an unwritten rule. Like if you haven't eaten since 2 o'clock, and you get home and you maybe have an hour or 2 hours before bed, maybe your smartest choice there is to crush a protein shake, something that's again like maybe very light in carbs and very high in protein, just to kind of get that protein, keep your protein levels where they need to be, because realistically your body repairs itself when you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to sleep and you're depleted, you're not really repairing yourself. You're going to wake up sore, especially if you had a crazy workout, and all of that kind of compounds after a while.
A lot of people who intermittent fast, they will skip breakfast.
Yeah.
And then they will go and have a good dinner, but then I've been told by someone else saying that's the wrong way to intermittent fast, because your breakfast is the most important. If you really want to do intermittent fasting properly, you should stop eating at say 3 or 4 o'clock
Yeah.
in the afternoon.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, on intermittent fasting?
See, it's not a one size fits all, right? Intermittent fasting is not the right approach for everybody. So everyone's different. I tried it. I felt horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. So it's not for me. If clients ask me about it, they want to try it. I say, listen, we'll get you on like a 16 8-hour window,
Yeah.
right? So you eat in that 8 hours and you fast 16. Based off of that, again, you can kind of, depends on their routine. It depends on their career. It depends on how they operate. Everybody is different. If someone gets home late, let's say at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, right, and you're asking them to basically fast 16 hours, what does that mean? They're not going to be eating till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? So yes, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, because that's kind of what starts off your day with your energy levels, and that's why carbs, loading your carbs early in the day is recommended. But if you're intermittent fasting, again, some people will intermittent fast 4 or 5 days out of the week, and then the weekend they kind of stop it. It defeats the purpose, right? Whatever you do, whatever you decide that you want to try, it needs to be sustainable, first off, and second of all, it needs to make sense for your life, right? The problem is people see so many things, and again, I go back to the novelty, and it's like, oh, I'm going to try this now. I'm going to try that now. And you look back in a year and you tried 7 different diets and none of them worked because you didn't do any of them consistently enough for the right amount of time.
Yeah.
Right? Meanwhile, the first one would have probably been the best one for you.
So I'm currently doing intermittent fasting. The only reason why I'm just changed is because I had a couple of injuries. You know very well I separated I tore my quadricep in October right off my knee. I've had 3 surgeries, and my shoulder, I've got severe advanced arthritis, so I have a lot of inflammation. So just doing some research, the intermittent fasting, if I can keep my insulin levels low as long as possible, it does reduce the inflammation.
Yeah.
And the problem that I've had for me is I gained weight because I couldn't do cardio for the longest time. Like for 5 months, I could not do cardio, so I had to be very careful on what I ate and watching my meals. I was still training. I was training my upper body, but I could not incorporate cardio, which was like a really big part of my workout schedule.
Yeah.
And so, coming back from vacation, blowing up a little bit, I've been doing some intermittent fasting, and I got to be honest, my shoulder actually feels pretty good after like a good week and a half, 10 days of intermittent fasting, because I will have my last meal 6:30, I'm done.
Right.
And usually my last meal it might have just a very little bit of carb.
Yeah.
It's mostly loaded in proteins and fats like avocado, extra lean ground beef. But I won't have my next meal until 10:30. And by the time I have that meal at 10:30, sometimes it's 11 o'clock, I've already trained and I've done cardio, because now I'm back to doing cardio again.
Yeah.
And then I have that meal, and I only give myself a 7.5, 8 hour window. I find that my waist is actually getting a little bit slimmer.
Yeah.
I'm not as bloated anymore, but the inflammation that I feel in my shoulder is down. It's starting to go down, right?
Yeah.
So I think the intermittent fasting does have its benefits.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does have its benefits, but again, it's not for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So you're able to do that split, right? A lot of people that try it are not, right? And so again, it's not a one size fits all. We can easily say there's a lot of people out there that believe red meats cause a ton of inflammation. Cut out your steak, inflammation goes down instantly. And I've tried that, and definitely I would feel less bloated, less inflamed for sure if I cut red meats out. But I love steak.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my secret passions is barbecue. And you tell me to not eat steak, good luck.
Yes.
Right? So there's again so many different variables. You just need to find what works for the person.
Yeah. And I think finding what works is probably just more trial and error. Yeah.
Trial and error, and really again, when I talk to someone and I get them to really describe and explain to me what it is that they've been going through and where their struggles are, you can kind of already look at okay, so they're clearly struggling with maybe really high dopamine levels, and so they're overstimulated. They have so number one is people's sleep. Their sleep is atrocious, and that's because we've become enslaved to our phones. Right, 1% of the population will leave their phone out of their rooms before they go to sleep. People will be on their phones for at least an hour before they'll fall asleep to their phones, and then you wonder why your sleep is shitty. You wonder why you're waking up groggy and why your workouts, if you show up, if you go, are crappy. It all starts with such small, minor little details, and it's all in the mind. All of it.
I keep my phone in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't even have it near me. I try not even to scroll at night, just because I don't really care. I think there's something to do with the blue light too.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It keeps you up. And my phone stays in the bathroom, and it's not even near me.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on peptides?
I mean, listen, I haven't done research on them. I've had several clients ask me about them, and I said to them, I'll never be one to push you towards that. You'd have to do your own research and see if that's something for you, but it's not something that I've gone into. I've
tried BPC 157 and TB 500 stacked together right after my surgery.
Okay.
I was doing subcutaneous, and then once my bandages came off my knee, I was injecting it right into the knee. Did it speed up the healing? I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't tell. Like, I have nothing to compare.
Right.
You know,
And that's the problem. It's
I've
so
never had a
fresh.
quadricep
Yeah.
tear, like reattached.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to compare it
to.
to.
Yeah, and you don't know. Like it's so new and it's so untested, and there's no like testing on okay, what are the side effects?
Yeah.
Maybe a year down the road,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think we'll find out definitely a lot more in the next 6 months to a year for sure on what actually
And there's
is.
so many out there.
There's tons.
Yeah.
Tons.
For my audience listening, if they want to try your approach, what's the first strategy that you will ask them to do?
First strategy is we need to figure out why you're at a state that you're at right now, right? Whether it's a lack of discipline, whether it's a lack of priorities towards your fitness, whether it's a overload of stress from work, we figure out why is it that you're in that state. And if we get to the root of that cause, we can get your fitness back on track. But if we just try and shove fitness down your throat and not get to the root of why you've, let's say, put on the weight, why you've, just really let go, it's not going to be sustainable. And that is what the Lean Executive System does. It gets you fit, but it teaches you the necessary tools to stay fit.
Mm. You know, I talk a lot on this show about plugging financial leaks, and you talk about plugging health leaks. What's the real cost of ignoring your health that most successful people, they don't see coming?
I mean, listen, don't quote me on this, and I don't know where the study was done. It was somewhere in the U.S. It was one of the universities, and a group of doctors did a study on some wealthy people that were basically passing away, and asked them, what do you wish you had more of? The answer wasn't money. Time. Right? So we get so caught up in pursuing all the flashy things, more money, more finances, bigger house, bigger authority, especially in my industry, bigger everything, that we lose sight of what powers it all, right? So if you're out there and you're listening and you run a crazy successful company, right? All those people under you rely on your health, you staying healthy. And so if somewhere down the road that's kind of slipped through the cracks, you need to really just analyze why that's happened. And you got to just incorporate back some of those habits, because again, like, it's some of the most successful professionals had like crazy routines. They were crazy athletes back in university, but you just kind of grow old, you stop doing the things that you were doing before.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think that there is a connection between how someone manages their body and how they manage their money in their business?
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to priorities, right? Again, if I were to tell you your finances, right? If you don't keep an eye on what you're actually spending your money on, somewhere down the road, you're going to realize I just spent, a couple $100,000 on something that is not going to return, and it's really a really bad investment. It's the same thing with your fitness. If you're not really focusing on the right things that are going to get your fitness back on track, you're going to be in this loop. And the problem is some people get so sick and tired of this loop that they just totally give up, right? And so it's both routes are hard. Working on your fitness and keeping health in as part of your lifestyle is hard. It's not easy. But people didn't become successful because they chose the easy route. Now, going to the doctor's office and hearing that you got diabetes or any other illness because you've kind of not focused on your health is also hard. Both are hard. So you need to really decide on which hard you want to really fight for.
I'm so glad you said that, because getting up and being motivated and getting your ass to the gym, even the days that you don't want to, is hard.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's hard. It's hard watching what you constantly eat and weighing your food all the time. It's hard. It's hard when I go out to a restaurant and my buddies are pounding back burgers and fries. I'm looking at them and going, no, my fat ass don't need that. I'm just going to have, an extra lean steak, or I'm going to have the fish or the salmon,
Exactly.
right? It's hard. But I don't want to end up in a hospital because I've got chest pains and the doctor says we did a test and your arteries are fully clogged, and or God forbid it's too late and I've got a stroke and now I can't work for 6 months. Choose your hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Both are hard,
Yeah,
but choose what's hard you want. I'd rather choose, I'll sacrifice smashing down a burger and fries
Yep.
for the salmon,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Or I'll sacrifice, sleeping in the extra hour. I'll get up and I'll go to the gym. That's hard. But I know that down the road, that is going to prevent me from ending up in a hospital bed, God forbid a heart attack or a stroke. And I think, you dealing with a lot of high performance people, I'm sure that there is no lack of you seeing people close to that.
Yeah,
True?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like you said, choose your heart.
Yeah, it all comes down to that, right?
Yeah.
It's part of that identity, right? Especially as a leader, right? So a lot of these people are leaders. They lead companies. They lead teams of people.
Mm-hmm.
What are you known for? What is your identity? Is fitness and taking care of yourself and your family part of that, or is it that you work crazy long hours, and then you'll hit up the bar, crush some drinks, and repeat? Because that in itself will show it. I mean, you're making money one way or another, but both have, I would say one has a severe consequence. The other one is just gain.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end, when your time comes, you're not gonna say, I wish I didn't spend so much time with my wife and my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I didn't, work so much on my health to, put on more years on my life and just be able to be more healthily functionable. Right?
Yeah.
You're not going to say those things.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that coin is, I wish I had more time. I wish I didn't take my family for granted. I wish I didn't, waste so many days of my life at the bar. It's crazy, right? But
Mhm.
again, so many people fall into that, and it becomes so dark that you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. I say, being wealthy is hard and being broke is hard. People go, well, how is being wealthy hard? Well, if you're wealthy, you're not punching a clock from 9 to 5. You're working 12, 13 hours a day. You're working weekends. You're working on your vacation.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Doesn't stop.
But also being broke is hard too. So choose your heart. I'd rather cry in my Lamborghini than cry in a Corolla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So choose your heart.
Yeah.
Do you find the same discipline it takes to build wealth is the same discipline that it takes to build a strong body?
Absolutely. It's
Even
just
more maybe?
I would say it's probably around the same, maybe a little bit more, because again, it all comes down to committing to that process and instilling those necessary habits that it requires, right? So someone doesn't become wealthy because, like you said, because they, sit up and game and watch shows until 10 o'clock at night or 11, maybe go to bed at 2 o'clock and then wake up at, 10 and work 5 hours.
Trust me, it don't work. Did it?
Right.
Doesn't work.
Right. But the same approach you can say towards health and fitness is someone's not going to become healthy by just trying to do all sorts of different things and always chasing the next thing, because they're not patient to the process and to actually committing to changing the main problem, which is up here. It's your entire mindset of what it comes to when it comes to fitness. Some people view fitness as another chore, another task. They don't view it as part of their DNA.
Yeah.
When it becomes part of your
Your
DNA,
lifestyle.
it becomes who you are.
Yes.
For someone to say to me, "Oh, you're so crazy, you work out on vacation," I love it.
Oh yeah.
I love waking up at 5 in the morning or 6
Mhm.
o'clock, because sometimes the gym's open a little bit later,
Yeah.
wherever you are, and going for my breakfast buffet after I have a
Yes.
really good pump. No
feels
one,
great.
You cannot compare the feeling of
Yes.
that, right? Meanwhile, the flip side of the coin is You stay out crazy late, just get crazy liquored up because it's all inclusive and it's free. You wake up at 10 o'clock, you waddle yourself to make sure you don't miss the buffet because it's closing.
Yeah.
And then you go to the beach and you sit down, I'm sorry, like a fat whale sometimes, and you look at some guys and it's like, oh, must be nice. People were working while you're sleeping, right? It's a completely different world while you're sleeping, right?
Yeah.
So
I there's not a greater feeling. Like we wake up. I'll be up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I still wake up early because it's part of my circadian. I wake up naturally at 5:30 or 6.
Yeah.
Get up and watch the sun come out. Do my meditation. Get the wife up. We head to the gym, have a great workout, do our cardio, and walk straight to the buffet, sweaty, throw our shit down, and go load up on a nice omelet. Feel good. You feel good. And for me, I find that it sets my day and it sets my whole cycle.
Yeah.
Like, I get hungrier throughout the day because I've already done all my cardio and I've done my workout in the morning. Like, I don't feel lethargic. I just feel like if I did what you said you did, or people do, not yourself, but go to bed at 2 a.m. You're liquored up. You're drinking all day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how people do that. Drink all day, go to dinner, wake up late, go to breakfast.
I'll tell you why they do that once you finish.
I can't function. I still go to bed sometimes, not 9:30. Probably a little bit 10:30, because here's the one thing that I love to do on vacation. I like to enjoy a nice cigar after dinner.
Yeah.
I'll have a cigar on the beach, and I love a nice cigar after dinner. I sit on, and I have the area where they do their entertainment. I'll have a nice espresso, and I enjoy a cigar. And sometimes that cigar at 9:30, the wife's like, "Oh, I'm tired of going to bed." I'm like, "Babe, I still got an inch left, or 2 inches. I'm finishing this, baby. I'll see you in bed. It'll be 10:30." But I'm not staying out till 1, 2 in the morning, and I don't drink, so we can't stay and get liquored up all day. I don't know how people do it.
Yeah. It's numbing. I mean, a lot of people use vacation to just escape.
Yeah.
Escape
free.
and numb.
Yeah.
Well, what are you escaping?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's a deeper root to that. What are you escaping? The responsibility of having to change.
Yeah.
Getting out of that comfort zone of all the bad habits that you've kind of picked up over the years. Because you're escaping something at that point, right? And it all comes down to mental, right?
Yeah.
So you fix that kind of lens of how people look at fitness and how they look at really just in general life, and everything starts to turn for the positive, right? You're more successful through your day, and you're more efficient in 5 hours of work when you're clear-minded and you're sharp than if you were to work a double the time, but you're completely depleted.
Totally. And you know yourself who the successful people are. When you're at the gym at 8 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. on vacation and the gym is packed, you know who's successful there.
Exactly.
And you can just tell by the guys that are just killing it 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning on vacation.
Yeah.
Right? For the business owner or the entrepreneur listening right now who keeps telling themselves that they'll get to their health when things slow down, what do you want them to hear?
It's never going to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be another excuse or another hurdle, another opportunity, another company that you want to maybe take over, or another location that you want to open up. There's always going to be something, right? It comes down to making that decision that fitness becomes part of who you are, not just what you're doing when you feel like it, because it's not, at that point it's not sustainable, and you're going to continue to just battle, right? And if you're fighting that battle, more often than not you're going to lose it, because if you're just reliant on motivation, it's not going to work, right? It's doing it even when you don't feel like it are the most rewarding times, right? Imagine you didn't go to work every time you didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Right? People don't look at it that way, right? Imagine, not talking to your wife when you didn't feel like it, or feeding your kids when you didn't feel like it. I mean, these are all responsibilities that as the head of the house, as a provider, you're responsible for. So whether you feel like it or not, whether you've had a bad day or not, you're going to do it anyways. So why is taking care of your fitness and your health, mental, especially, and physical, not follow the same principles?
Yeah.
Right?
I have the same philosophy where, where you ask someone if they're saving and they're like, well, I don't make enough money to save. I'll start saving when I make more money. But here's the truth. If you can't save $5, $10, $20 now, the whole thought process and the whole belief system is I'll save when I make more. Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because lifestyle creep. Now you make more money, oh, now I can go and I can afford this new car. I can afford a bigger house. I can afford this, afford that. So just like you're saying, things will never slow down. There's always something's going to come up. So I think what you got to do is just start.
Exactly.
Just start. What's the biggest mistake you find that busy professionals make when they finally decide to get serious about their health?
They try and do it on their own, right? Ego is a massive thing that I deal with. I mean, you've become successful, you did it on your own. Maybe you had a little bit of help, but you did it yourself. So why do I need to spend, $5,000 on a coach, or why do I need to spend $150 on a coach, 3 times a week? I don't need that. I could do it on my own. Yeah. Imagine doing your own accounting, or if you have a lawsuit, being your own lawyer. Right? I mean, it's the same principles, but somewhere down the road, fitness kind of falls to the background. And so when it comes to people taking that aspect seriously and having someone to hold them accountable, and it's almost like it's weird because sometimes I come across people and certain prospects where I'm talking to them and they know they need to change, but they also know that they don't want to. Changing is too hard and they'd rather push it off until they have no choice. And unfortunately, some people wait till, again, some sort of traumatic event happens, whether it's a divorce or a health scare or something happens to them, to then try and change. So why is it that you needed to have this mental trigger in your head of trauma to directly associate it to making yourself have to change?
Where do you see AI in this? Because someone listening can say, hey, listen, you know what, Szab, I can go on ChatGPT, I can give my height, my weight, and how much weight I want to lose, and it'll design me a whole workout program and a whole diet plan. What do you think is the difference between someone using AI to get a program or working with you?
Well, number one, the accountability aspect.
Yeah.
Right? Number two, is it specifically systemized for where you're at in a mental perspective towards fitness, right? Because like you said, you can very easily design yourself a 5-day program, but what happens when you go into the gym and that workout that you were supposed to complete in 45 minutes has now turned into an hour and a half because maybe you've decided to check an email, right? So these
Or you're scrolling through Instagram.
Exactly.
I catch myself doing that sometimes.
Maybe even looking for a different program because you
Yeah.
feel like the one that this thing designed you, or you see, you talk to Joe down on third bench there when you're supposed to be bench pressing is doing something different, right? It's really that accountability aspect, but really also just knowing where people tend to kind of hit that snag. And that is where most people really just yo-yo, because like I said to you, you can go ahead and use AI, but you're gonna find yourself using AI and having 5 different programs in a matter of like 6 months and really not staying consistent too, because you don't know if it's for you, if it's specifically designed for you, because you don't know, like if I speak to you and I figure out what it is that kind of makes you like maybe miss your workouts, or makes you, not have that motivation and you don't go to the gym or you don't log your workout in the app, right? I can kind of counter that, or we can maybe make up for it. But if you don't have that person kind of teaching you, like, okay, so you know, you missed your Monday, no problem, let's move it to Tuesday. Okay, so okay, you missed you have a really bad week. I have a pilot, and he's got like crazy flight schedule. Okay, no problem. So you're not flying on the weekend, so we'll swap your workouts to the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What you can do right now, in the meantime, is watch your food. Right? Now, an average person, AI is not going to tell you to do that. You're going to just kind of, again, guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't have a set structure for your lifestyle. And AI is not going to, whether or not people see it or not, AI is not going to help you really implement that, right? It's almost like having a calendar. Someone has a really busy schedule, and their calendar is set. You know exactly what you have at 10. You know what you have at 11, right? Now imagine that calendar is wiped, and you have to figure out, okay, who do I have today? I'm just going to sit here at 10 and see who shows up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sit here at 12 and see who shows up. Okay, so again, same thing with your workouts, right? Maybe you're going to blast through your lower body pump that you had designed on ChatGPT, but what happens next Monday when you don't feel like showing up?
You know, the other thing that AI cannot do is assess you on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis.
Yeah.
You know, my wife, you know, when she wants to do some coaching, have you heard of Kim Otto?
Yes.
ODDO? Kim
Yeah.
Otto. He trains the fitness girls. I mean, his girls, the women he trains, they win the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
They win the Miss Olympia. So she's got him to help coach her, and she has bi-weekly check-ins where she has to take photos of her body,
Yeah.
send it in to him, and he'll say, "Oh, you kind of fucked up this week. I could tell.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to tell me what you ate. I could tell by looking at your body. So we're gonna make some adjustments. Or things are looking good. Let's tighten this up a bit. I'm gonna adjust your diet." And I guess between AI and what you could do is AI can't look at you and dial in what you need to do, is where you can help them. And ChatGPT is not going to keep you motivated, encourage you
No,
to get to
it's
the
not.
gym, right?
Exactly.
So I think AI's got it place in some places, but
It's also very, very generic.
Yes.
Right? It's very generic. AI is.
so
is
your plans are tailor made.
Of course,
yes.
we off that initial onboarding session, we
Yeah.
know how many injuries you've had.
Yeah.
We know whether or not you can do an overhead press, whether or not you should be doing
Yeah.
whether or not you should be doing an overhead press.
Okay,
Right?
ChatGPT or AI could be giving you an exercise that could really injure you
Of
if you got
course,
an injury.
of
Yes.
course, and majority of the people that we coach, they're sitting all day.
Yeah.
So I would say about 75% of the programming when it comes to upper body is posterior,
Mhm.
right? You see some of the women that I train, their backs crazy because for every push movement that I have them do, or we instruct them to do on the app, you have 2 pull movements. I live by that. It's posture, posture, posture.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter if you sit all day, whether you stand all day. As we age, we tend to just flex forward. You start to get that crazy arch in your cervical and thoracic spine, and so you see a lot of dudes, like the main lift at the gym is your chest press, and what that does is tightens your chest, it pulls you forward. That's why half of them are always continually like this, right? And so again, that aspect of, okay, did it take your posture into effect or into consideration, right? Because you could have 5 push movements and maybe 1. Well, you don't need, like, especially let's just say a lady, she doesn't need a day just for chest and shoulders. You don't. It's a waste of time, especially if you're limited for time, and that's what we deal with. People that don't have a lot of time. For those that have the time, have gone to that point where they have that 2 hours to go to the gym. That's a different story. We really, really work with people that are limited for time, and so that time that you're not getting back has to be like worked properly.
Interesting. So, for people that want to find you and learn more about working with you, how can they find you?
So Instagram, you follow me at Szab Fit. That's SZAB _ fit. YouTube as well.
Okay.
Those would be the primary or check out skulfitness.com.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. You shared a great wealth of knowledge, and if anybody's listening and you want to get fit, check out my boy Szab here.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's all the time we have to today. If you like this episode, please like it, subscribe, and share with your friends. Take care of your wealth and your health.